NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Josh Paschal, defensive end, University of Kentucky.
Let's start with the story. Paschal is the only three-time full-season captain in school history, inspired by what he has overcome. He was diagnosed with a malignant melanoma on his foot in August of 2018. Was back on the field in November of that year. He is long since cancer-free now. Had a terrific redshirt senior season, 5 sacks, first team All-SEC. And so a terrific moment for him and his family as he's drafted in round 2 by the Lions.
Yeah, Greedy, right now he's a better run player than he is a better pass player. He can set the edge and dominate explosively. Whoever, when you bring him in from a defensive standpoint, you're going to have to coach him up as far as being a pass rusher. But I just love the physicality. He's scheme versatile. We can play 4-3 or 3-4. He will bring a level of toughness and physicality to your organization.
Yeah, the versatility is key here for sure. As a matter of fact, he'll play anything from a 1 to a 9.
Yes,
He'll be stayed in the center. Next thing you know, he's out in space. He'll be in a 2-point. He'll be in a 3-point. I like him inside. I think he's more instinctive inside as a pass rusher, and his body type probably fits as a 3 technique more so than outside. But great character. Look, a 3-time team captain, that's big time in college football, especially in the SEC. And the Lions need pressure as far as pass rush is concerned.
Josh, you wore a lot of hats at Kentucky, obviously. You know, you played defensive end, you played inside, you played some linebacker. Can you just tell Lions fans what kind of player they're getting? Is that versatility one of the biggest keys to your game?
Yes, sir. Versatility is one of the biggest keys of my game. I move all across the front. I'm not sure right now what Coach Washington, Coach Glenn will have me playing, but, you know, whatever it is, and, you know, I'm going to give it my all, and I'm very versatile. So whatever it is, I'll be able to pick it up.
Josh, what does it say about you that you were a 3-time captain?
It just means that I was blessed enough to be around a lot of great leaders, and they helped me become the leader that I am. I'm a guy that can change locker rooms, and that's my goal, is to come in, learn from the guys, the veterans there, but also step into a leadership role as well.
Can you describe your leadership traits and abilities and why you say you're able to change locker rooms?
Yeah, I just think that I'm a relatable guy. At the end of the day, I love to build relationships with my teammates. I love to be able to lead different guys in different ways. As far as like some guys, I believe that every person that you lead, you have to have that bond with. But some guys, when you learn, you know, some guys respond best to calling somebody out, and then some guys respond best to pulling somebody to the side. But, you know, going into Detroit now, I'm going to be able to really take it all in this first year and be able to learn from the veterans. I've been blessed enough to be around Logan Stenberg as well, and a Kentucky guy up there, and he's told me nothing but great things about Detroit. So I'm looking forward to it.
Josh, I had questions about 2 really different topics. First of all, I need to know about this dentist office commercial and how reflective that is of your personality.
Oh yeah, that was a fun dentist commercial to shoot. It was off of Terry Tate's The Office, and so we shot that in a bye week during the season with a dentist in Kentucky. And I like to have fun. I'm a fun guy, and so that's something that expressed my personality.
And then a little bit more on the serious side, the 2018 melanoma diagnosis. Just curious what that experience was like for you, and you know, maybe coming out on the other side of it, what you learned from the experience.
Oh yeah, I learned a lot throughout that whole time. I learned not to take not only this game but life for granted. To take every day and every moment as a blessing. No matter if it's going out there on that practice field or if it's just waking up in the morning. Everything's a blessing. I'm beyond blessed to be in the position I am now, and I feel like everything came full circle. And I'm beyond blessed to be a Lion.
Next question.
How well, if at all, do you know Aiden Hutchinson, and what do you think, what you guys can be up front as a tandem?
Yeah, so I met him at the Combine, and he seemed like a great guy, a great competitor, and I can't wait to get to work with him. We're going to go out there. We're going to be a young defense, and we're going to be able to make some plays. So I'm looking forward to getting to work with Aiden.
One more for you. I tweeted this out. A scout tell me don't know, a month or so ago that, you could be president one day. I don't know. Do you have like goals beyond football? Is there something that, you aspire to, I guess, beyond sports?
I want to play this sport as long as I can. But after the sport is over with me for playing, I want to be around coaching it too. So, this is what I love. So no matter if it's playing, as long as I can, after that, I want to get into coaching. So.
Josh, I don't know if you're with the Lions or the Jets at the Senior Bowl. I can't remember, but just what experiences did you have with the Lions coaching staff down there?
I wasn't at the Senior Bowl.
Well, you were supposed to be, though, correct?
Yes, sir.
I guess just why did you end up dropping out of that event? Was it injury related?
Yep. This was healing up, so getting ready for the combine, so I decided not to go down there. I'm all good now, though, 100%.
I guess just kind of following up on that, how much contact have you had with the Lions over the last couple months here? Are there any coaches or anyone in the front office you've had specific conversations with?
Yeah, I actually had my a formal interview at the combine with them. So I met Dan Campbell, Coach Wash, Coach Glenn. I met them all there. We hit it off. We watched some film, just talked about ball and life, and instantly I knew it would be a great fit.
Anybody else?
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate you guys.
Meanwhile.
I'm just curious, when you sat down and started talking ball with Brad and Dan and Aaron and even Coach Wash, just what was it about this staff and the way they want to play ball defensively that just kind of fit, your play style and what you're about?
Yeah, I think the play style is just relentless. It's nasty, and I think that's what it's what the whole coaching staff was brought here, under Coach Campbell. I think that's the mentality, and I think I come in, and I bring that same mentality. I think that's why I'm a perfect fit for this scheme and for what for that Detroit grit. So I think I fit that mold.
What's different about this staff? I know you watched the last few years, but does it feel like this you're part of something different that's changing? Like what? I guess it's welcome to the good. What's the biggest difference that you've so far this time?
Just being with this staff, I just think there's a lot of special guys and a lot of guys that just talking with them, I know that communication is just so open, and I think that's critical to having success on a football team, is to have that player-coach relationship where you can talk to one another and you can figure stuff out just through communicating. So out of all the visits I had, Lions was one of my most seamless ones, just because of how smooth it was and how it was so easy to talk football and just communicate with all these coaches. And I think that's what is going to lead to some future success for sure.
Aiden, I know that there was a lot of thought leading up to this about being drafted, and you have the manifestations as well right now. But have you had kind of that aha, oh my God moment, like maybe late last night when you were alone winding down, or this morning, or on your way here? Has that hit you yet? Not quite.
We're still waiting on it. I think it's going to be a couple days. I was just walking around the building today with my family, and it's just weird, because growing up, I was a Michigan guy, I'm around Detroit sports so much, and to think that I'm a Lion is just, it seems like a wild dream to me, but now it's kind of come true. So it's wild, but I'm soaking it all in, and I'm sure one of these days it's going to hit me for sure.
Sure, you've talked about it in the past, but if you could expand on just being a kid that went to high school right down the road and grew up here, like your Lions fandom. If you had that growing up, like what are some of your memories as a child, watching this team?
Not a ton of great memories. We went through the 0-16 season when I was growing up, so it was. I've been to a couple Lions games before, and the atmosphere is just great, and when the Lions are winning ball games, it's like happy wife, happy life. Like the fans are just so into it, So I just hope that when we got the right pieces coming in, I think the coaches are right. I think we can start to get this ball rolling a little bit.
How much will it help that you don't have to learn a new area, in terms of the transition, and where do you think you'll live? Like live with your parents? You're gonna get a place around here?
It's been discussed. I might be living in the basement, No, but yeah, it's definitely going to make the transition easier. I don't know where I'm going to live yet. I found out a couple hours ago that I'm staying in Detroit. So got to go house hunting real quick. But no, yeah, I'm excited, and just being home is definitely going to make this transition to the NFL easier.
I'm just wondering how playing for Coach Harbaugh and your relationship with him, how that helped prepare you for what you're about to embark on in the NFL. Yeah,
I think Coach Harbaugh, he has a very professional way about him, and especially, that's what he kind of implemented at Michigan was just, how with the scheduling and when they send out the schedules, like we don't know what we're gonna do until the night of. He'll send out the schedule. So I think having that, keeping us on our toes, was always a very professional way about his scheduling and how he ran the program. I think it's definitely going to pay dividends at this level, especially just in this NFL atmosphere.
What was the flight in like? You and Jameson, I assume we're on it together. So how much interaction was there to get to know each other? What was that top flight, or did you just sleep?
We were sleeping the whole time, so trying to catch up a little bit. I sound a little groggy right now, but no, it was a short flight. I wasn't awake for most of it.
There's a flood of congratulations that come in for players when they experience this moment. Did you get any unexpected or, I guess, cool people that reached out to you that didn't?
There was a good amount of Lions players who reached out to me on the team, so I thought that was pretty cool that those guys are reaching out. I think they seem pretty excited, and I'm super excited to play with those guys. So, a lot of love from everyone around me. So, yeah, it's been great.
You said here.
When they made the trade for Jameson in the first round, like what was your thoughts initially when you saw them being aggressive as well after they picked you?
I was in the middle of media when all that was happening, so I just heard that we had traded up and we got Jameson. Just watching him on like national TV, you see in the playoffs and the championship, the guy's a stud. So, hopefully, he'll rehab. I know he tore his ACL, I think, back in the championship. So I don't know where he's at with that, but get back healthy and get back to balling out.
You said your agent gave you a pretty good idea that Jacksonville wasn't going to pick you, but when you were in the back and you heard them take Walker, what was your first thought going through your head?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened, but yeah, they did end up taking Trayvon, but yeah, I mean, congrats to him. That's freaking awesome. But I mean, first thought, I was just praying the Lions were going to take me. There was it's a little bit scary when you get in that green room and the Lions are on the clock and you're just sitting there. I'm like, dear God, just please pick me. That was kind of what was running through my head.
So did you find out before the phone call?
That I was going to Detroit?
Yeah.
No, I had no idea where I was going.
You picked up the phone.
Picked up the phone.
And whose voice did you hear?
I heard Brad Holmes.
And how'd you feel?
Well, I saw the Detroit area code, so so I knew. But no, it was definitely a deep sigh of relief from me and the whole fam, for sure.
Will you use that as motivation in any kind of way? Not being picked number one to fuel you as you start this rookie year?
Yeah, I'm gonna find a way. I find little ways to motivate me, and if that's if one team passed on me, I guess I can use that as motivation, and it's kind of how I do things.
You're pretty candid about growing up as a fan and some hard times. The 0-16 team and the Lions still have been searching for a winner. Now you might be the face of sort of turning that around. What does that mean to you? Are you putting pressure on yourself? Are you embracing that? What is that sort of?
Yeah, you know, it is a little bit weird that people do say that about me, but you know, I'm just gonna come in here and do everything that I can, you know, and you know, I'm not gonna be too focused on the outcome or focused on, you know, just anything like that. I'm gonna be focused on the process and focused on, you know, just the everyday grind and you know, just getting better as a player to help the team.
You're a draft prospect, your whole life gets dissected over the last however many months. What was that like for you? And I guess did you learn anything about yourself through this whole process?
Yeah, you know, I really think it made me learn to just block out the noise even more. You know, it's something that I had to learn this past season, just staying off social media, especially during the season. But you know, I think in this process for sure, if you're too glued to the mock drafts, if you're too glued to, you know, people's analysis of you, you know, you're dead. So you know, I think that's never been my how I go about things. I have these self beliefs about myself, and I don't really give a crap what you say about me.
How does this, I guess, experience differ from the day you committed to Michigan? Obviously, you had the choice there, but just is there any parallels to the two?
Well, obviously the parallel of staying home, but no, it's such a different feel. Just because, you know, the NFL, this is just on such a bigger stage, such a bigger level. You know, when we had walked out there on the stage in Vegas for the little intros, I mean, that place was rocking. And you know, I wish I had a crowd like that when I committed to Michigan, but but no, it was crazy though. The stage, and I thought the venue there was awesome. I think the NFL killed it.
Are you a goals guy? I mean, do you set goals for the next season, or do you keep it
say that? Yeah.
So, what are you willing to say about what you want to accomplish as a rookie in this league?
Well, just know that I'm always shooting for the stars, you know, and you know, whatever that may be in your head for me, then that's what you can think. But that's always how I've done it. So yeah, I'll be shooting for the stars.
Looking ahead a little bit, but rookie mini camps a week or two away. Do you, your dad give you any advice about that? Do you have any thoughts just on what you can accomplish, like your first few days in the building around all the other rookies?
I'm starting to get into territory that my dad hasn't even been in. So. You know, it's we're starting to get a little foreign here for him, so I'm having to navigate this one on my own for a little bit. But no, I mean, all this has been happening so fast. We haven't really gotten the chance to talk about, you know, the future or anything. We've just been we have just been embracing the moment. I guess you could say so.
You may be going from the basement to the backyard.
That's right. That's right.
All right, thanks everyone. TVs, I'll meet you in the lobby.
All right, appreciate it.
What did it mean to you with the injury and all that, that the Detroit Lions made a big move to move up and draft you? Showing that kind of faith in you, what did that mean to you?
It meant a lot. Show that they had a faith in me, like you just said, the trust and everything. We talked a little bit earlier, and we just got an understanding that when I get back, it's going to be, we'll get going.
Just one other thing, too. When you got injured in the championship game, what went through your mind at that moment?
Nothing really. It was just to the point that it was what it was. So I really didn't try to think on it that much.
We talked to Ben yesterday about Johnson, the offensive coordinator. I don't know how many conversations you've had with him, but he was really excited to be able to use your speed in that vertical threat. Just maybe any conversations you've had with him just about how they might use you and how excited you are to join this offense?
Yeah, I'm excited to join the offense. I feel like we can do pretty big things. We got Amara, DJ, with the addition to the running back game. I just feel like we could do a lot of things, you know.
Take us through the process of the trade. Like, how did you hear about it? Like, did it surprise you at all? I know we asked you yesterday. You said that you felt value, but just take me through the process of learning it. They was moving up for a trade.
I was watching the draft in the green room, and I just seen the Detroit Lions. But a Detroit number called me, but it hung up, and then just called me back.
Did you hear from Gall? Did you hear from any players, like your future teammates?
I haven't heard from nobody yet.
I asked Aiden imagine it was the same for you. What was the flight in like? Did you just sleep on it?
Yeah, I was asleep.
Catch up on the rest.
James, I'm curious just about growing up in a track family, right? Mom and dad ran track. I believe all three of your siblings also ran track. Just, I guess, the competitive nature of being one of the younger siblings, and you know, in that environment where everybody's just fast as hell.
Yeah. I don't think it's fast. I think it's shit. We was kind of fast, but we kind of worked into getting faster. A lot of working out, a lot of like you said, competing. So we kind of put that upon ourselves, but we for sure was blessed with speed.
Do you think you were the fastest in the family?
Shit, 12, 13. We were working out, like a lot of workouts, really. That was the main thing, just working out, exercising.
Jeff Okuda was just tweeted out some excitement after that pick last night. Just wondering what your relationship was with him or Jonah or Rashad Berry, any of those guys.
Jeff was one of the guys at O State. We talked a lot. He was a big brother for sure. And he ended up only having 1 year when I was there. I was a freshman. He got drafted to the Lions. But actually yesterday morning, I was just ended up talking to him, just checking in. He was telling me good luck and everything. And then I just ended up being a Lion later that night. So put the tweet out. And we talked last night. So that was good.
Comforting knowing you got a guy you know that's here to kind of maybe help get you acclimated.
Yeah.
With Aiden, obviously he's from the area, so he's very familiar with the Lions, and we were just talking about him growing up watching the Lions. I wonder, what do you know about the Lions franchise?
Not much.
Well, what do you look forward to maybe changing as far as
changing the culture? It's really just flipping the program around, and you know, really that's the main goal. Winning games, getting the playoffs, having fun.
Brad Holmes said that they're looking for game changers, and you could be one of them. What does that mean to you, and how would you fill that role?
You said how would I feel? How would I feel what?
Brad Holmes said they're looking for game changers, and you could be a game changer for this offense. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about that. I feel like it's nothing to me. I play football. I'm a playmaker, so if I get put in that position, it wouldn't be much for me to handle, you know.
Jameson, it's pretty clear you're tired of talking about the injury. I get it. I'm curious about the rehab process, though. Like, we've seen some videos, you're kind of doing some sprints and some agility. So can you just kind of explain to us, like, where you are and what you're doing right now, and maybe what's the next steps that you know about?
I'm 13 weeks from surgery. I just been doing regular movements. Just getting back to it, but I should be ready to go by training camp. I'm shooting for training camp.
Is there any, I don't know, mental hurdles with any of that? When did you, I guess, get past that and you were just ready to go?
I only had like mental problems for like the first week. After that, it was over with. Yeah.
Good. One last thing, you know, rookie minicamp's coming up in a couple weeks. You and Aiden probably will be the leaders of that group, right? Naturally, first-round picks. What can you show your teammates? What leadership role can you take with those guys?
I'm really just looking forward to having fun. We just gonna bring each other up. We just gonna have fun, and that's really just where it's gonna start at. Being a leader, get to know the guys. You know, really just create a new culture. And just start something new. It's the start of something new, and I'm just happy to be here. Really just excited to get going. So when it comes, we have a lot of fun, and those guys will just come together as it goes, you know.
Got one more question just about Aiden. What do you know, if anything, about his game, and are you excited to have someone, a talent like that, sort of joining this team?
Real good player. I watched him late in the season last year because they was in playoffs, and we was in playoffs, so we might have ended up playing him. But I like his game. I like how aggressive he is and everything from what I watched. And, yeah, I'm excited of playing with him. Before the draft yesterday, we was actually talking about where he's getting drafted and stuff. I asked him, did he know? But we ended up being on the same team, so that was good. I'm just looking forward to getting going. Me and Aiden change the culture and just turn things around for Detroit. And I'm just excited to get going. Excited to be here. I'm ready.
I'm just curious if you didn't get an opportunity, obviously, to train and run in the combine. If you would have ran, I'm just curious, what was the goal? What do you think you would have ran that 40?
I don't know no time. It probably it would have been faster than the fastest 40 ran this time. Fastest 40 ever. I would have ran the fastest 40.
This year or ever?
Huh?
The fastest 40 this year or ever?
Ever.
Thanks, James.
Yep.
Please welcome 1989 draft pick, Heisman Trophy winner, Pro Football Hall of Famer, from Oklahoma State University, Barry Sanders.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for that warm welcome. And with the 97th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Kerby Joseph, defensive back, Illinois. Thank you.
All right. And it was just like, yo, this is like finally happening. Like, this is what I've been dreaming about. This is what I've been seeing on TV as I was a kid. And like, it's just now like actually going through it and then seeing it physically in my hands, seeing the phone call and picking up and talking. It was just like, I'm just so lost for words, and all the anxiety, all the stress left my body, and I'm just filled with joy now.
What kind of contact did you have with the Lions through this pre-draft process?
I met the Lions at the Senior Bowl, and then after the Senior Bowl, I met them again at the Combine. I had a formal interview with them, and I felt like I got a sense of family while I was in that room. Like, everybody in there connected with me, and I love that. And then I got to meet them again on a 30 visit. I was so grateful to have with them, and I got to reconnect with them and meet the GM and meet the head coach again.
And I just want to, I guess, talk about your career at Illinois. 3 years kind of in more of a reserve role. You step into that starter role this year and immediately show some playmaking skills with the 5 picks. What do you think really clicked for you in your senior season?
My senior season, I feel like I took in a lot more extra effort. I feel like I started to buy into at least one position. Like, I felt like me worrying about where 2 positions were, like, I play receiver or safety. Whereas, like, I focused in on safety. I felt like that really elevated my game.
And the receiver, I mean, how much did that experience as a receiver, how much does that translate to the ball skills as safety?
The ball skills always been with me. The ball skills, I was just born with them. Those are just like natural talents that I have. But I feel like receiver also did help me like learn what offenses are looking for, like what are the goals as an offense, like concepts and stuff like that.
So before switching, or before playing completely safety, what was your practice routine like?
When I was playing receiver?
Yeah. I mean, was there any defense at the time?
Well, I played receiver my year. So at the beginning of the year, I just focused on straight receiver drills. Like, I would go into practice just as a receiver, doing like the receiver drills they had as indies and stuff like that. But toward the end of the year, I got switched back to defense. So toward that end of that year, I started doing defensive drills. But it was no point in time where like I was doing both drills on the same practice.
And then just back to, this whole experience of today and everything, it looks like maybe you're downstairs or something trying to get away from noise. Do you have a party going on? What's the atmosphere like at wherever you're at right now?
Oh, the atmosphere crazy. Atmosphere going crazy. Right now I'm in the garage because everybody like, they going off out and stuff like that. So yeah, I stepped into the garage just to get a quiet space to talk to you guys.
We appreciate that. How many people are there? Like, explain the party. I mean, you obviously hope to go today if that was if you had a little draft party going on. So what was the wait like as you waited for this to come down too?
The wait, the wait didn't too much bother me. It just it motivated me. You feel me? Like, it didn't break me down. It didn't lower my confidence or my self-esteem. It just made me want to go even harder. You feel me? Because now when I come in, I'm giving it. I was giving it 100 times, and now I'm giving it 1,000.
Are you at your house? Is that where you're at? Like your parents' house?
At a Airbnb. My house don't look like.
Where at? In Champaign?
No, it's like in a city like 20 minutes out of Orlando, called Kissimmee.
And how many people are there?
Like 60. I ain't even gonna lie to you, 60.
Anybody else?
Really quickly, could you just run us down on your special teams experience? I know that was something you did big early on your college career. I don't know if you continued it late, but just the different things you can do on special teams.
I can do everything. My 4 years playing at Illinois, I did every special team core there is known to man. I started off on special teams, which is why I fell in love with it, which is why I enjoyed playing it. I remember this season, I scored the first points of the college football season against Nebraska. I got a safety against Nebraska. So, yeah, that was lit. I scored the first point, so that was fun. Freshman year, my first tackle was on special teams. So I was also grateful for that because, I never had a college tackle before. So after I got that one, I just turned up.
Anybody else?
All right. Thanks, guys. Kirby, get back to it. Thank you.
All right.
We are, you talk about the first round, when we kicked it off yesterday, you do so much work on all of these guys, but those are pretty much, all the household names that everybody pretty much knows. And we're thrilled to have landed Hutch and Jameson, just as I said yesterday. But, today you're getting into real, you're getting into football player country now. When you get into this second, third round, I mean, that's like, this is guys that, you might have a question mark here or there, but these guys are true football players, and all these guys are football players. But starting with Josh, he's just a versatile player. I think he can play all up and down our defensive front. He's been a highly effective interior rusher, but he can also set edges and play the run as well. He's got extremely elite character and intangibles. Some of the best that I've experienced and I've researched on. And then the other thing with both of these kids today, I would say Josh and Kirby is, I've talked a lot about conviction and buy-in and having total building conviction, total building buy-in. Like, every single person in the building is like, I'm totally bought in on this dude. That's what both of these players were today. Just the love for both of them. On all the coaching staffs and everybody. Kirby was another guy that's got a lot of high upside. Still developmental. Only been playing the position for about a year, but it's been a high-level special teams player. Good range and elite ball skills, can turn the football over. So we're very excited, for both of them. There were targets that emerged as favorites throughout the process, and we're just really excited. It's a great day today.
Speaking of the decision to focus on the defense, though, come right back with the edge rusher. Some people like the decision with that, like really locking in on defense. Why was that important?
Yeah, well, we had a lot of areas, to address, and obviously, landing Jameson, on the offensive side of the ball, we already talked about him, but we had a lot of question marks, but it just happened to be, now if there was a question mark on offense, and it wasn't a guy that was such as good of a football player, but it just so happened that it lined up that Josh, and Kirby, they're just those kind of football players. But with Josh, you said edge rusher, hey, you get, an edge rusher in Hutch, and then you get a guy like Josh that can play on the edge and can play inside. He could stand up if you wanted him to. So he's got a lot of versatility there. And then Kirby, again, like I said, you got a rangy safety that fits our scheme and what we're looking for.
And just to follow up on that, I don't know, how much better do you feel you are defensively now than you were a year ago? And what are maybe the merits of like building young on that side of the ball so these guys can all come up together? You're so young there last year, and now spending 3 of your first 4 picks on that side.
No, that's a good question, Dave, because the real exciting thing is our coaching staff and their ability to develop those guys at such a rapid rate last year and the growth that those guys made from training camp to late in the season get you really, really excited for those guys stepping in the second year, and then these incoming rookies, and just keep building that foundation and having the continuity with our coaching staff again, with being able to have AG again and his current staff. And so that's what really gets you excited. But Dan and I said from the start that we wanted to build through the draft. That's what we're going to continue to do. I think we made some good strides last night and tonight, and hopefully tomorrow's a good one too.
Invested quite a bit in the defensive line these first 2 years between Brockers, the two day two guys last year, Charles, Aiden. So when you have seemingly, I guess, maybe getting close to a full cupboard, how do you perceive, I guess, the move of adding a guy like Josh? Is it something where you just expect the talent to sort itself out in training camp, or do you have a very specific vision on how he can contribute as a rookie?
Yeah, well, we do have a vision for him, and just the things that I said about his ability to be an inside rusher in sub situations, and see what he'll be able to do on the edge as well. It's competition. He's going to have to come in. He's going to compete. Nothing's going to be given to him, but we do have a vision for him, just as all the players that we acquired. So I don't think you can ever have too many pass rushers, and so that's kind of how we feel from there, and then we'll just let it sort out.
Josh isn't a big guy, 6'3", I think 268, something like that. Just what is it about his skill set inside that makes him so effective as a pass rusher in there?
Yeah, he's got pop in his hands. He's got incredible instincts. He can he can shed. He can find the football in the run game. He's beat some really good tackles. Down in the SEC. He's a skillful pass rusher. He's got crafty hands, and he's explosive. He's high motor explosive. He's a football player, and that's what we talk about all the time. Not one of these guys that we've acquired aren't gritty, and so that's what all these guys are. These guys are gritty football players. Josh is one, but he's more than that. He's outstanding intangibles and character, and he should be able to contribute hopefully soon.
Second time you mentioned that, his elite character and traits and intangibles. Can you just explain that a little bit more? Like, what is it that stands out so much about him in that?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's been a 3-time captain. I think he's the only 3-time captain in the school history. He's battled things personally that he's persevered. Which that often can shape a person, and just when you find out more about him and just find out how he utilizes his time, and he's very, very proactive. He's very, very intentional in everything that he does. And when you hear the coaches and his teammates talk about him, you just get a little bit different tune than you're used to hearing. And so again, the more and more our area scout Steve Neal, he does a lot of work out there in Kentucky, and he came back, and the research he had on him was very, very glowing, and Steve did a heck of a job. He had Dan and I sold on him to want to just find out more about him, but it's just that you're wild when you turn on the tape, but then you find out about the human being, and you're just impressed even more.
With Kerby and then the Deshaun Elliott signing, just how much more comfortable do you feel at safety than you did maybe even a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it's probably fair to say that we're a little bit better there, but no, it's not just being better. We just were very, very young. Obviously, we were fortunate enough to re-sign Tracy and get him back, and then Deshaun is still a young player that has ample playing experience, but the guys behind him just hadn't played a lot. So Kirby's going to be a rookie, but again, I do think the competition is going to be fierce. From a depth standpoint, and we'll just kind of see how it falls out. What I do like about a lot of those guys is that those guys do have high level of special teams upside. When you get back to even the C.J. Moores and the Brady Breezes and those guys, and then a guy like Kerby Joseph has been a standout special teams player. So that's what gets you excited about him.
We talked to you last week. You said one of the biggest things you learned between the years is just patience. Got to be patient in the process. Tomorrow we'll test that. You got to sleep on things tonight, and then got like a 60, 70 pick weight. And I know I kind of asked you this yesterday about maybe trading up in the second round, but do you imagine it's going to be difficult to wait around all the way to 177 before selecting again?
You know, it just depends on who's there. You know, there was a couple of times tonight that I thought about moving up, but it's just, you just gotta, you know, it's never guaranteed. You know, you just try to see if you can find a partner, and if it lines up on both sides. It didn't quite line up tonight, but we were able to stay patient. But you know, luckily we were still able to land Kerby, but it was around Kerby when I kind of got that itch a little bit, but stayed patient. You guys know me; I can get that itch sometimes. But I get, you almost got 2 full rounds, you know, almost tomorrow. But you know, you just kind of see, we like where the board's at now. There's still some good football players out there. Dan and I were just looking at it, and so we're still excited, and we'll just kind of see how it falls. But if it's the right guy, it's got to be the right timing, and then if the gut feels right, you know, I'll strike if I feel it's necessary.
They hold you back guy from your cell phone.
John Dorsey sits behind me, so he kind of like the voice of wisdom. But no, seriously, you know, it's just got to feel right. You know, I will say, you know, I talk it over with Dan. You know, I asked the rest of the guys in the room. You know, Ray Agnew, you know, Dorsey, Lance, everybody, you know, Dave Sears, and I'll ask those guys what they think, and then I'll get their input. You know, I've always said, you know, I don't have all the answers. I got a lot of knowledge that's surrounding me, and so I lean on all those guys.
Two foundational pieces, obviously. Do you feel like this draft has given you a chance to add more impact guys, and not just rounded out the roster, but guys that, not just the guys yesterday, but even guys today, impact guys?
Yeah, I truly think that, and it's especially about this draft, because I think a lot of narratives I think were made about this draft, and it's a lot of narratives about all the drafts. They say, oh, this is a strong draft, this is not a strong draft, and all that. And so whatever narrative, but you know, if you think it's strong or not as strong, you know, sometimes it's like, hey, look, sometimes you say, if it's not as strong, then just trade back. Well, you know, you keep trading back and it's not as strong as what everybody's saying. So if you just stay patient and you have your board stacked right, there are some good football players that we were able to acquire that we think can be foundational pieces. It's, again, like I've always said, it's up to us. We got to hold ourselves accountable and make sure that we do our part and to develop these players and make sure that the structure and the resources are right around them. But if we do our part and then they control what they control, we should all have success.
Brad, there was a report earlier today. There was a potential report earlier today about a potential offer on the table with the 49ers for Deebo Samuel. Can you confirm or deny that report?
Well, I did say last time that, you know, whenever a player is, you know, being discussed about a trade or anything like that, we'll always look into all of that, but those are internal discussions. Leave it at that.
Coming into this draft, one of them was that it was a weak quarterback class. Just sort of big picture, why do you think, you know, quarterbacks have been so slow to come off the board in general? A couple of them went there, obviously, in round 3, but I don't know, just have any thoughts on maybe why quarterbacks were slow coming off, and why you guys, you know, decided not to pick one in the first 3 rounds?
Well, I'm trying to think the best way to answer that. You know, I think the quarterbacks were evaluated and graded what they were evaluated and graded as. You know, now look, in personnel, we can't control how the media grades and evaluates, and the outside people grades and evaluates people. So when quarterbacks are being tabbed as this, that, and that by the outside narrative, and I'm not saying, you know, often the media, you know, they have contacts in scouting, and they're talking to people in personnel, and if it is, then it is. But you know, I looked at the quarterbacks, and I thought that they were taken where we thought they should have been taken, at least from our standpoint. So I didn't see it as they were being mistreated or, you know, being, you know, like not being taken fairly. It's just I think they were evaluated properly. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Watch